Beginning our countdown list to spot number 10 is Rihanna. This one surprises me a lot because she is not usually one to make headlines for being the center of a controversy or scandal. But recently people have called her out saying that some of her songs were disrespectful towards the Muslim community. Some fans online started calling her out for a song she used during the Savage x Fenty lingerie fashion show because it included sacred Islamic verses, and includes a remix of a hadith narration about the end of times and Judgment Day. The hadith is a written record of the sayings and actions of the Prophet Muhammad and is considered extremely sacred to Muslims. The fashion show included an apology with CNN and agreed that they should not have used it. They even said the tracks are being replaced and the show is going to edit it out. Rihanna also issued an apology on her behalf and apologized, saying that it was a careless mistake. But fans are saying that this is not something that should be let go. I don't know, to me I don't think it was meant to be problematic, but then she realized that it was, and she apologized. I'm just trying to be optimistic about everything nowadays because people are coming in hot on YouTube. Coming in next, number 9 is Dr. Phil. A lot of people would agree that he's done a lot of good things for people, but because of his platform as a doctor and a celebrity, he has to be careful with what he says and does. He caused a big controversy in recent times when he compared the COVID-19 deaths to car accidents, pool drownings, and smoking related illnesses. He was doing an interview with Fox News and said, "The fact of the matter is we have 45,000 people a year die from automobile accidents, 480,000 from cigarettes, 360,000 from swimming pools, and we don't shut down the country for that. And yet we are doing it for this, and the fallout is going to last years because people's lives are going to be destroyed." Now, he did say this near the beginning of the pandemic, and later he admitted that he misspoke and used some bad examples to make his point. But he caused a lot of damage online because it caused a storm for those people who had lost loved ones to this virus and those who felt that it was more serious than he was promoting at that time. He's putting his foot in his mouth now. Sliding into number 8 is Nikita Dragun. The beauty guru is always in the middle of some kind of drama, and the most recent controversy came after she asked her millions of followers which race she should be that day. Probably not a good question to ask people. People have called her out in the past for blackfishing after darkening her skin tone to a point where she looks like a completely different race. Nikita has explained that she is mixed race, saying her mom is Mexican and her dad is Asian, and denied artificially darkening her skin tone. She decided to make a joke out of these claims and tweeted out, "What race is Nikita gonna be today?" She immediately faced backlash from fans and even other influencers. A fellow black YouTuber, Nima Tang, tweeted back at her saying, "This shit is not funny." After seeing the backlash, she ended up saying she's tired of having to defend herself every day, but people said she wouldn't have to if she didn't make comments like this one. Or jokes, as she called it. Those are all the pictures. Sliding into number 7 is Scooter Braun. Probably heard about the legal battle Taylor Swift has been going through with this record executive. He works with some of the most popular artists in the world, and Taylor Swift was once one of them. But then Scooter started holding her music against her when she wanted to move forward from working with him. He legally owns all of her master recordings from the last decade of her career, and she's actively been trying to purchase them back from him, but has been unsuccessful. Because of that, she hasn't been able to perform those songs without his permission. It was recently announced that he had sold her master recordings, videos, and album art for $300 million without her knowing. This was actually the second time that it was sold without her knowledge. Taylor talked about it in a recent tweet where she posted the screenshot denying to working with the new company, who was still affiliated with Scooter, and said she has already started re-recording her old music. She actually plans on re-recording all of her old songs so that they will be hers and her old ones won't hold as much financial benefit for Scooter down the road. Although I feel like they might still. They were the originals. Next up at number 6, we have the Nelk Boys. If you don't know who they are the guys behind the popular frat channel called Nelk Boys. But their content has been problematic on more than one occasion, and last month YouTube stepped in and demonetized them, which means that they cannot make money on their content. when you're demonetized. They got in deep trouble with YouTube after throwing huge parties at Illinois State University, which went against COVID-19 regulations. Some videos even showed them protesting against COVID protocols and encouraging their followers to ignore the restrictions and party. A spokesperson for YouTube released a statement saying they are violating YouTube's creator responsibility policy and believe they are creating a widespread public health risk. They were only suspended from YouTube's partner program temporarily though, and they still continue to push the limits with their content. They're still out there partying is what I'm trying to say. And filming it. And making money from it. Halfway through at number 5 is Tati Westbrook. The beauty YouTuber and owner of Halo Beauty has been in the middle of controversy on more than one occasion. But things got really bad recently after her business partner sued her. Tati and her husband are being sued by their business partner, Clark Swanson, for Halo Beauty. Clark alleges fraud, negligence, and breach of contract. He has been the third partner in their company since 2018 and claims that he initially owned 50% of the company, but shortly before they launched, Tati came to him asking for a greater share. According to Clark, the deal was that he would give 33 1/3 to both Tati and her husband, giving them the majority of control and leaving him with 1/3 of the company. In exchange for that, Tati told him she wanted to expand the brand into skincare, cosmetics, and other products, but that did not happen. She did launch some beauty products, some eyeshadow palettes and beauty blenders, but put them under the name Tati Beauty, which was a breach in their agreement. A lot of people have mixed emotions on if she's in the wrong or not, so I would like to know what you guys think. I mean, if it was in the contract that it has to be under Halo Beauty, obviously she's wrong, but like, she could start a second company, could she not? Sniping the number 4 spot is Trisha Paytas. I honestly don't even know where to begin when it comes to Trisha Paytas. All the headlines I see about her are all very negative scandals that she's involved in. I honestly never see good press for her. She has caused outrage online many times, like the time she offended the LGBTQ community after claiming she's transgender because she is attracted to other gay men. She said, I quote, "I like guys, but I also identify as a guy if that makes sense." However, she still flaunts her female body parts, goes by her birth name, and uses female pronouns. Speaking of body parts, she recently found herself in another online storm after posting completely nude photos of her private parts on Twitter. Like literally, you see everything. I don't even know how it's allowed. Her behavior has always been very reckless and spontaneous, and most of the time, problematic. Yo, she posted her bare butthole. I'm not kidding. Like, how is that allowed on Twitter? I don't have a Twitter anymore, so I don't know. But she spread her cheeks and posted this photo, and it's like up there and it's live and like disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I don't ever want to see that. In our 3rd spot is Chris Pratt. This one will just depend on what you personally believe. I never saw the actor to be the controversial type, and he's never been one to get in petty celebrity drama. But the Guardians of the Galaxy star has been facing tons of backlash after one tweet started trending where people had to choose which Chris was the worst one. Amy Berg tweeted, "One has to go," and attached photos of Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, and Chris Pine. The innocent joke turned serious real quick after actress Ellen Page called him out for supporting a religious organization that reportedly discriminates against the LGBTQ community. The organization is called Hillsong Church, and in 2015, the senior pastor wrote in a post that the church welcomes all people, but does not affirm all lifestyles, including the gay lifestyle. On top of that, people also exposed the fact that he might be a Trump supporter. He didn't attend the recent virtual fundraiser for Joe Biden, which was attended by all of his other Avenger co-stars. He hasn't openly said he voted for Trump. He's actually remained very silent on political views during this election, which has also made people believe even more that he did vote for him. This is all he said, she said, so it's up to you. Coming into number 2 is Kanye West. All of his behavior in recent times has been extremely problematic, but people are sympathizing with him a little more since reports have said he is struggling with mental illness right now. He's gone on some pretty epic Twitter rants recently where he bashed his own wife publicly, posted a video of himself urinating on one of his Grammy Awards, shared photos of his confidential music contract, and tweeted out Forbes' personal contact information. On top of his personal life drama, he's also trying to become the next president and is doing anything he can to get elected. He recently shared an ad where he is encouraging his fans to add him into the election as a write-in candidate on the ballots. He then filed legal documents to lock down the rights to his campaign slogan, "God Save America," after sharing that he believes God will make him president and he wants wants to bring faith back to politics. Of course, with everyone sharing different beliefs, it has caused a ton of controversy. It's hard to say what his next move will be from here, which is why most of his moves are problematic. They just seem to be very bizarre and spontaneous these days. Next up in the #1 spot is J.K. Rowling. I don't think anyone ever thought the Harry Potter author would cause so much controversy and drama in 2020, or ever really. She's not normally one to make bad headlines, but she has been facing a ton of backlash for comments that came off as transphobic. She wrote an entire blog about her feelings on sexuality, and a lot of people were hurt by some of her remarks. It also did not help her case after she recently promoted a store that sells anti-trans merchandise, some of their items saying trans women are men and woman is not a costume. The website is called Wild Women Workshop and is run by a founding member of an activist group called Get the L Out, which calls gender transitions a form of rape culture aimed at lesbians. So obviously, J.K. Rowling promoting this website on her social media is definitely problematic for a few different reasons, most of them being very obvious, and I don't think I have to explain why. Kicking off the countdown at #10 is Sharon Osbourne. The talk show host did a recent interview with CBS where she shared her thoughts on the lawsuit between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. She didn't hold anything back when she spoke on it and compared their relationship to the dynamic she once had with her own husband, Ozzy Osbourne. She said, "I don't know what they were using, but I know they were both drinking and it's a volatile relationship. I had a relationship like that with my husband at one time. I would give him what he gave me." Sharon has been open about her relationship in the past and how they both apparently got physical with each other. She even admitted that during one physical altercation, he told her that she was going to die and started to violently choke her. But she stayed with him and worked on the marriage. People were furious that she got involved in Amber and Johnny's lawsuit and that she's comparing their experience to hers, and they don't think that that is right. Not to mention, most people would encourage others to leave a toxic and abusive relationship. Moving on to #9, we have Megan Fox. Her relationship with Brian Austin Green has made news headlines on a few occasions. Earlier this year, they called it quits after being together for 10 years and sharing 3 children together. Fans were shocked when she was seen with Machine Gun Kelly just a few days after the split announcement, who then confirmed that their relationship was real not long after that. But Megan and Brian's civil split has been taking a turn for the worse lately, and people are pointing the finger at Megan. A feud between them started after he posted some photos on Instagram which included their son in one of the Halloween pictures. Megan publicly wrote a lengthy comment on the photo asking why he has to post photos of their kids, and said that he is using them on social media to make it look like he is a better parent. She said, "You're so intoxicated with feeding the pervasive narrative that I'm an absent mother. You have them half of the time." Brian deleted the photos, but people quickly jumped to defend him, saying that she could have handled all of that privately. Alright guys, before I continue with the list, make sure you leave a like on this video because it really helps us out. Sliding into #8 is Jaden Smith. He was just one of the celebrities who showed up to Kendall Jenner's Halloween party this year, but his costume stood out more than the rest, and not for any good reasons. Pictures from the party surfaced online and showed him wearing a black coat with an oxygen mask. He received a ton of backlash online, but then he cleared it up and posted a photo of John David Washington from the movie Tenet, where he wears a black coat and an oxygen mask. Turns out that is who Jaden was dressing up as. But some people still did not believe him and said that wearing an oxygen mask during a time like this is inhumane. That is the word they used. Some people were firm on the fact that he could have picked any other costume and that using an oxygen mask as a costume in 2020 is very insensitive. Personally, I didn't see anything wrong with the costume. When I saw the picture, I did not see a COVID-19 patient, but what do you guys think? Making her way into #7 is Amanda Bynes. She's been very problematic in the past, but I think there's a lot of us who are hoping she will get her career back on track. I know I am. She's had an ongoing struggle with drugs and mental illness, which has landed her in rehab centers and also in trouble with the law on a few occasions. Her online behavior has also been problematic in the past, like the time she started tweeting out horrible things about other celebrities, and even gave out disturbing and personal information about her own father. But she recently just made a comeback online, and people are curious how things are going to play out. I personally hope she's in a better place now and she can finally make this epic comeback, but people still have their doubts and concerns. She posted a new photo to Instagram rocking a totally new look and a new Instagram handle. It is now called Matte Black Online Store. Her lawyer recently said she's in the process of earning her bachelor's degree from the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising and said she is thinking of launching a fragrance and clothing line. Cruising into number 6 is Harry Jowsey. He skyrocketed into fame this year after starring on the Netflix series Too Hot to Handle. His relationship with Francesca Farrago was the talk of the town for a while, but when they split up, she exposed him for cheating. She posted a YouTube video where she cried to her fans and explained what went down in the relationship, admitting that the breakup was all on him and that she had proof that he cheated. So his reputation in Hollywood already took a punch after that. But in more recent times, his newer girlfriend, Julia Rose, revealed that he might be dating people for the wrong reasons. For fame, basically. Julia started dating him but quickly ended things after seeing what she called red flags. She said, "It was almost a flex type of thing, almost like he was flexing a new Rolex. I kind of said I felt like he was dating me for the wrong reasons." But Harry was actually the one bashing her name online, saying that she was cheating on him with her ex Jake Paul, so the whole thing seems a bit chaotic and a little bit immature, if you ask me. Halfway through our list, at number 5 is Belle Delphine. The cosplayer has a very successful career on YouTube, but she caused quite some scandals online after selling her bathwater and possibly even her urine. Back in 2019, she announced to her fans that she would be selling her bathwater. She announced it on her Instagram, writing, "I am now selling my bathwater for all you thirsty gamer boys." The jars of the bathwater actually went up on her site and was listed at $30 per jar. She called it Gamer Girl Bathwater. Many people were confused and a little bit grossed out, but there were also a lot of fans who purchased the product. So it may have been like a genius business move on her end. But then reports started saying that she was selling a jar of her urine for $10,000. People didn't know if it was a hoax or not because it was up on her website and included a description that said one lucky cutie fan would receive it and that it is only for sentimental purposes, not consumption. But then other reports said that that site was actually a replica of hers and she wasn't actually trying to sell her urine, so we're not really sure, but the bathwater is enough for me. In spot number 4 is Noah Beck. He is one of the biggest stars on TikTok right now, but he is facing massive backlash after charging his fans to duet him in a video. If you aren't on TikTok, a duet means that you can duet someone's video and be side to side with their video as if you are doing a collaboration with them. Normally, this is completely free and anyone can duet anyone's videos, including celebrities. But for some reason, Noah started charging his fans a whopping $10,000 per duet. Fans were outraged and could not believe that he would charge for something as petty as this. And let's be real, he does not need the money. Noah did apologize while speaking to some paparazzi a few days ago. He said he feels guilty for charging such a high amount and claimed that it was actually a brand deal. He also admitted that he doesn't think anyone should be charging $10,000 for a duet. But he also wouldn't give up who the brand deal was, so it's hard to say if it's true or not, or if this is just like an excuse. In the third spot is Khloe Kardashian. The reason she is so problematic is actually a little bit ridiculous, but it can be understanding when we realize just how damaging her actions can be. She's not one to get involved in a lot of Hollywood drama, but recently people are having an issue with how much she's altering her images and appearances online. She was first caught for heavy Photoshop when she posted an Instagram picture and then did an interview for Keeping Up with Kardashians the same day, which exposed how different she looked in her edited photo. But in a more recent photo, fans started accusing her of blackfishing and said that she looks like she is doing a Beyonce cosplay. Realistically, there's no denying that Khloe does look like Beyonce in this new look. The only reason people have such an issue with it is because all the editing and Photoshop can be very damaging on the beauty standards in our society, especially her younger fans. Probably the reason why I use fake tanner half the time. I see people looking tan online, I'm like, ooh, damn, that looks good. Taking over our number 2 spot is Kendall Jenner. The Kardashian/Jenner sisters are making a lot of headlines during the COVID-19 pandemic for doing things that other people in the world are prohibited to do. Kendall decided to throw herself a birthday party despite the COVID-19 numbers rising drastically in the US. Photos and videos surfaced online that showed her partying with friends, family, and even some other celebrities. None of her guests were wearing masks, which made people even more frustrated, but what people people hated the most was that she had signs at her party that asked her guests not to post any photos or videos on social media, clearly trying to hide the fact that she had a party. She was facing a ton of backlash for her decision, but she never commented on it or apologized for it. Instead, her mom, Kris Jenner, came forward and said that everyone was tested for COVID-19 before going into the party and that they made sure it was a safe environment. Making his way into number 1 is Jeffree Star. The beauty guru just launched a new eyeshadow palette called Blood Money, and he was not messing around when it came to the big reveal. He's always been known for going all out when it comes to his makeup products. The Blood Money palette is all green toned, so he filmed a crazy video to go with the theme. The promo YouTube video was him posing in front of his $14.6 million mansion with a 10-foot alligator and tons of money flying around, of course. So fans were excited for the big reveal. But when they finally saw the reveal video, they were disappointed because they didn't feel it matched all the promoting that he did for it. During the video, there were bits where he would speak to the camera about the product and do swatches of the makeup. Fans started commenting saying he had no energy and the video came across very dull. He ended up admitting to his fans that he was having a bad day when he filmed it, but fans weren't very forgiving. They said his whole reveal seemed like an infomercial on TV and that it came across like he was just trying to sell his products. Kicking off this countdown list, number 10 is Charli and Dixie D'Amelio. The TikTok stars and sisters are under fire after a YouTube video was posted on their family's channel. The video was the first one of a series called Dinners with the D'Amelios, and it featured the sisters and their parents eating a meal prepared by professional chef Erin May. In the video, Dixie starts gagging and even leaves the table to throw up after trying some of the seafood. Then later on in the video, Charli is seen talking about how she wants dino chicken nuggets instead. The video had over 8 million views, with the majority of comments calling them disrespectful and ungrateful. Soon enough, the entire Twitter universe and TikTok was calling them brats. Dixie ended up responding in a video where she said the video was taken out of context and that they know the chef well and always joke around together. She said the chef and the camera crew actually set it up for her to eat that because they knew that she would freak out and throw up. Some people are not buying her excuse though, and Charli has lost over 500,000 followers since that video went live. Up next, number 9 is Conor McGregor. The UFC fighter recently announced he is ending his retirement early and will be returning to fight on January 23rd. He remains the biggest star in the sport despite retiring for a 3rd time in 4 years and only being 32 years old currently. He's also one of the few fighters who end up in the media all the time for starting drama or having a complete public meltdown. There's been a few occasions where fans have tried to take photos of him, but he ends up in a rage and just smashes their phones instead. Back in 2019, he was charged with strong-armed robbery and misdemeanor criminal mischief after he took a fan's phone from his hand and then smashed it on the ground. This was not the first time something like that happened. He actually attacked a bus containing rival UFC fighters and had to go to court for that too. He was ordered by the court to have anger management training and perform 5 days of community service. I think all fighters should have to go to anger management. It's a very angry sport. In spot number 8 is Max Eric. You have probably seen him in headlines recently for being Demi Lovato's fiance and then ex-fiance, all in a matter of 6 months. The two of them got together during quarantine and were only together for a few months when they announced their engagement. Everything seemed great, and from the outside looking in, they looked really happy. But after just a couple months being engaged, reports started surfacing saying that the two of them had split. Their split was super dramatic, but it was all on Max's side. Demi simply deleted their photos together from her social media and didn't make comments about it to the media. Max, however, he allegedly tried to contact all of her friends and family, staged paparazzi photos of him crying on the beach where they got engaged, and publicly slammed her on his live streams. There was a point where articles actually reported that Demi had gotten her lawyers involved because he would not leave her alone. She recently appeared at the People's Choice Awards where she made a joke about getting engaged and unengaged during quarantine, and Max responded online by commenting on her photos and posting a photo of him shooting the middle finger. Sounds like a classy guy. Cruising to number 7 is Zoe Laverne. The 19-year-old TikTok star caused some serious controversy after videos video footage showed her kissing a 13-year-old boy. This relationship came to light after someone hacked her phone and leaked conversations between her and the minor, and also different videos which showed them kissing and inappropriately dancing on each other. And by that, I mean she was twerking on him. Zoe explained herself and said that they were friends who grew feelings for each other and admitted that it was wrong, despite him giving consent and being equally as involved. Articles started surfacing saying that she was arrested and detained from her home. No one knew if the articles were true because she took a break from social media, but then she made a return not long after and started making jokes about everything. She posted a video on TikTok of her dancing and captioned it, "Me coming back to TikTok after I got cancelled for the 100th time." People were not impressed and said that this isn't about being cancelled, but it's about the fact that she actually committed a very serious crime. Making his way into number 6 is Jake Paul. I'm not sure where to begin when it comes to Jake Paul, since his whole career has been one controversy after another. He is still wildly successful despite the fact though. Do I start with his fake marriage to Tana Mongeau, or the time that his house was investigated by the FBI and firearms were found, or all the other times that he publicly called out other celebrities and exposed private screenshots on social media? His career started on the Disney Channel and then turned to YouTube full time, where his neighbors kept calling the cops on him for the crazy videos that he would film all the time. It's basically been one thing after another for him, and in recent times he started boxing, so now he is always calling out other fighters online and exposing screenshots to try and ruin their reputation. I feel like all fighters do that though, like they're always publicly fighting with each other and calling each other out because it like raises the tension of the fight. You know? Halfway through at number 5 is Tana Mongeau. You can be a huge fan of hers and still admit that she's always putting out fires in her career with her wild actions and behavior. The most recent issue came after YouTube took away her verification, which is a huge deal for any YouTuber and means you have done something big to deserve that. Well, Tana tweeted out to her fans that if they sent her proof of them voting for Joe Biden, then she would send them a nude photo for free on her OnlyFans. Oh, that's such a Tana thing to do. People started accusing her of breaking the law because this could be considered as vote buying, which is a felony under federal law. Tana denied that she committed election fraud and said she was being sarcastic. She told Insider, "Obviously, no one needs an explicit photo of me to go vote and make a change in our country." She said that she never sent any photos to those who voted and that it was all just for fun to encourage people to go out and vote. But what do you guys think? I don't know if I'm buying that. I feel like she might have sent some pictures out and didn't realize that, you know, it was like a law. Sniping our number 4 spot is Tory. He is the rapper that allegedly shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. The story came to surface recently after an incident that happened back in July in Hollywood Hills. Tory was riding in an SUV with Megan when he got into an argument with another passenger who was with them. The argument led to Tory firing off some bullets, and a few of them were at Megan's feet as she was trying to get out of the car. Megan shared the graphic images from her injury and even shared the text messages that Tory sent her while she was in the hospital apologizing for what he did. But then recently he pled not guilty for the charges that he is facing related to the shooting. In October, he was charged with various felony counts, including assault with a semi-automatic firearm, personal use of a firearm, and carrying a loaded unregistered firearm in a vehicle. He appears in court on January 20th, 2021, so we will see how that goes. Although he literally has, like, he apologized for shooting her and then he's pleading not guilty. In our 3rd spot is Emma Chamberlain. A lot of celebrities use their social media platforms to encourage people to vote during the election between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. But Emma chose to stay silent on the matter and shared how she just spent her days instead. Fans began to call her out, asking why she was seemingly ignoring the election, but she never made comment on it. What was even more strange was that she deleted her Twitter account right after it was announced that Joe Biden had won. People thought it was too big of a coincidence, and not long after, screenshots surfaced showing the voting database, and Emma is a Republican. People began attacking her online, calling her a Trump supporter, while others tried to point out that it could be a different Emma Chamberlain, or the screenshots could be fake from that database. She ended up posting on Instagram to try and clear up the rumors, but instead she just left her fans more confused. She told her fans to just celebrate the day and come together, but never denied or confirmed if she was a Republican Republican voter. I'ma keep my mouth shut on anything political. Cruising into number 2 is Offset. The rapper has had a lot of haters in recent times because he's been caught cheating on his wife, Cardi B. She filed for divorce recently after he was allegedly cheating again, but then she dismissed the divorce and said she's going to continue working on their relationship. I think we can all agree that someone who continues to cheat on their wife obviously has problematic behavior. On top of that, he was recently arrested while driving through a Trump rally and Instagram live streamed it. The cops pulled him over and said they received reports that he was waving a gun outside the window of his car. He refused to get out of the car after they asked him to, so eventually the cops removed him, and at that point the live stopped streaming. Later on, the Beverly Hills Police Department tweeted a statement that clarified Cardi B's cousin, Marcelo Almanzar, was in the passenger seat of Offset's car and he was the one arrested for carrying a concealed weapon and also carrying a loaded firearm in public. However, even though it wasn't Offset who was holding the gun, he was still in the car and like a witness to it, basically. He knew what was going on. Taking over our number 1 spot is Lil Wayne. He's been quiet for the last while, which is why people were shocked to see him on stage with Donald Trump during his campaign in the recent 2020 election. But the backlash he received from that is nothing compared to what he is facing now after facing serious legal charges. 10 months ago, he was involved in a firearm case in which a handgun was in his luggage on a private plane. But only a few days ago was it announced that he was charged with gun possession and could face up to 10 years in prison if he is convicted. He was charged with criminal possession of a firearm and ammunition as a prior felony offender, so things are not looking too good for him. However, his lawyers are insisting that he did not use the firearm in the incident. They said there is no allegation that he ever fired it, used it, or threatened to use it. There is no allegation that he is a dangerous person. But back in 2009, he pleaded guilty to a felony gun charge as part of a plea deal, so we're not really sure what's gonna happen this time.